Welcome to this explainer on Thilha Lengpa, the Ghost King's Eternal Guard. Now, if you're fascinated by cinematic Mizo horror, you are in for an absolute ride today. Picture this. You're in the ancient hills of Mizoram, where a thick, heavy mist literally never leaves the trees. And the night? Well, the night is never truly silent. Hidden away out there is a house. Today, we're unpacking a legend where sheer terror shifts into something entirely unexpected. So let's step into the dark. Don't go in the attic, girl. Don't answer if you hear knocking at 3 a.m. And never, ever say his name out loud after dark. Those are the chilling exact warnings our protagonist, Rini, heard from the local villagers. You see, she was moving into this massive, traditional 2-story Luce house. We're talking about a place built before her grandfather's grandfather was even born. And for 40 long years, the doors of this house had stayed padlocked. The windows were completely boarded shut. It just sat there, waiting in the mist. Just waiting for its newest resident to finally come home. Okay, let's dive into this, because Rini's situation is actually something a lot of us can weirdly relate to. She's a 24-year-old, eyes-all-born city girl, but right now, she is totally out of luck. Her job is gone, her bank account is empty, she's completely broke, holding literally nothing but a suitcase and a single rusted key to her grandmother's abandoned house. And keep in mind, this is the exact same house that everyone in the village was practically begging her to just burn to the ground. But honestly, when you're that desperate and out of options, ghost stories don't really seem real. Being broke, that's real. So, ignoring all the local folklore, she turns the key and steps inside. Now, for the first 6 nights, she totally convinces herself everything is fine. It's just an old, creaky house, right? But night 7 changes everything. It's exactly 2:59 a.m. Her room is pitch black. Suddenly, her phone screen lights up, casting this pale, eerie glow across the room. The clock strikes exactly 3 a.m., and that's when it starts. The absolutely unmistakable sound of heavy metal clanking begins echoing from down the hallway. Rini is just holding her breath in the dark. By 3:01 a.m., the sound stops, directly outside her bedroom door. And then, the handle slowly, deliberately creaks and turns. I mean, just imagine the sheer auditory horror echoing through that silent, empty house. Clank, clank, clank. Step, drag, step, drag. It's incredibly heavy. It's metallic. It's the unmistakable sound of something massive dragging its dead weight right through the pitch-black hallway, stopping right at that thin piece of wood separating it from Rini. When morning finally breaks, she tries to rationalize it. She tells herself what any of us would. You know, old houses settle. Old wood just creaks. But let's be real, the dread has already taken root. And the haunting? It doesn't stop. It rapidly escalates. Fast forward to night 8. At 2:59 a.m., the clanking is back, but this time it feels closer. By 3 a.m., the metallic scraping is actually replaced by something so much worse. Breathing. Deep, wet, ragged breathing right at the gap beneath her door. It literally sounds like a man drowning, just desperately grasping for air. And then, at 3:01 a.m., comes a sound that absolutely shatters any logical real-world explanation. A raspy whisper comes right through the wood. Rini. Driven by this crazy mix of pure fury and absolute terror, she refuses to sleep a wink. As soon as dawn breaks, she tears through the house searching for answers. That frantic search leads her to the one place she was strictly warned never to go. The attic. Up there, hidden away behind a broken bamboo wall, she uncovers the terrifying truth. It's a massive, 6-foot-tall painting. It depicts a man completely clad in black and silver Mizo warrior armor. But you want to know the most unsettling detail? A dark, carved wood mask covers exactly half of his face, leaving only one cold, intensely human eye just staring out into the room. And right beneath it, a plaque reads a single name and a date. Now, what's really interesting about this is the deal identity of this entity, which Rini learns from a terrified village elder named Paisami. Back in 1847, he was known as Prince Lianbawi, the strongest warrior in the hills, destined to unite the clans through marriage. But on his actual wedding night, his younger brother, who wanted the throne for himself, literally stabbed him in the back. His blood soaked the very floors of the house Rini is staying in, and his young bride fled into the mist, never to be seen again. But in the local legend, they say he was buried in his armor and mask, and he became Thilha Lengpa, the wandering ghost king. The story goes that every few years, a girl moves into that house, and every few years, a girl disappears. But here's the thing, Rini has nowhere else to go. She's completely out of options. So she stays, barricading her door against this ghost king every single night. At 3 a.m., the clanking starts up again. But then, there's just a soft thud against her door. When morning comes and she finally musters the courage to take down the barricade, she doesn't find a monster waiting for her. Instead, written perfectly in the thick dust on the hallway floorboards are two words: a safe. It turns out the terrifying clanking, the heavy breathing, he wasn't hunting her. He was guarding her door. From that morning on, these totally bizarre gits began appearing outside her bedroom every single day. We're talking wild Ingepesia orchids, these rare flowers that only grow in the absolute deepest, most dangerous parts of the haunted forest, fresh fruit, and one time, an incredibly deadly Sihal snake, cut completely and cleanly in half. Rini started putting the pieces together. At night, she'd hear something scratching at her window, right? Like sharp nails on glass. But the exact moment it started, those heavy, dragging footsteps would rush across the floorboards, and the scratching would instantly stop. The Ghost King was aggressively protecting her from whatever else was lurking out there in the mist. And slowly, all that dread morphs into something entirely different. This really dark, quiet kind of romance. Rini stops barricading her mind against him. She opens her door in the morning, looks out into the empty hallway, and finally speaks. "Good morning, Thilha Lengpa. Thank you for the flowers." She actually starts sitting in the dusty house, just reading to him, old poems, funny stories from her phone. And in that terrifying, abandoned Luce house, for the first time in years, Rini doesn't feel alone anymore. She is literally falling for the ghost assigned to haunt out. But you see, the forest hadn't forgotten about her. Then came the Thlothar, the new moon. It's the absolute darkest night of the month. At exactly 2:58 a.m., the temperature in the bedroom suddenly drops so fast it turns to ice. Rini's breath turns into thick white smoke. 2:59 a.m. The shadows clustered in the dark corner of her room actually begin to move. They detach from the wall. They stand up. Rini is completely paralyzed, unable to even scream. And then, at precisely 3 a.m., her heavy wooden bedroom door violently explodes inward. Through the shattered ruins of her door comes the true horror of the hills. It's this impossibly tall, unnervingly thin entity. It has way too many arms branching off its form, and it has no face at all. Just a smooth, wet, totally black surface that seems to literally absorb all the light in the room, and it is silently, rapidly sliding right toward Rini's bed. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer, overwhelming presence of the Ghost King. Standing right there in the destroyed doorway is Thilha Lengpa. He is real. He is towering. His silver and black armor is physically dripping with cold mist. That one exposed human eye is burning like a coal in the dark. Without a second's hesitation, he steps directly between Rini and this faceless nightmare. He reaches down and draws his traditional Mizo sword, his Dao. The scrape of the metal leaving its sheath rings out through the entire house, and it sounds exactly like a funeral bell. The battle that kicks off next is this brutal, chaotic collision of shadow against steel. The faceless thing emits this deafening, piercing scream despite having absolutely no mouth. But the mechanics of this fight are tragically unbalanced from the start. Wherever the dark entity's wet hands grab onto the Ghost King's ancient armor, the metal instantly decays and crumbles into rust. Now, the Ghost King is strong, and he is pushing it back, but it's costing him his very existence. With every single vicious hit he absorbs to shield Rini, his form flickers. He's becoming transparent. He's literally fading away. With one massive strike, he finally manages to drive the shadowy entity back and out the shattered window. But the toll on him is just too great. He falls heavily to one knee, looking up at Rennie with his one remaining eye. And when he speaks, his voice is hollow, breaking, and incredibly weak. I am dying. Again. I cannot protect you from the next one. You must love me back. Not fear, not pity, love. A living heart for a dead one. Say you are mine. It is the ultimate sacrifice, right? He is offering her his eternal protection, his shield, forever. But he needs her to anchor him. But as we know, eternity always comes with a massive price. He warns her that if she binds her living soul to his dead one, she can never, ever leave this house. She will never see the sun again. She'll be his queen in the dark, forever. And right there, in that heavy, suffocating silence, dong, dong, dong. The clock downstairs finally chimes 3 a.m. Looking through the broken window, Rini can see the forest road, the road leading to the city, to safety, to the morning sun. But down on the floor behind her, the Ghost King has collapsed. His hand reaches out for hers, literally passing through the floorboards as he fades into nothing. And from outside, she hears the wet, scraping sound of the faceless thing starting to climb back up the wall. So the crucial point we arrive at is this. Rini has mere seconds to make a decision that will dictate the rest of her eternity. She has two choices. She can choose life, leave him to fade into nothingness, bolt down that forest road, find her freedom, and see the morning sun again. Or she can choose love, grab his fading, ghostly hand, say, Kahamangai Che, I love you, and remain bound as his queen in the absolute dark forever. We've broken down the history, the absolute terror, and the heartbreaking romance of the wandering Ghost King. The monstrous entity is actively breaching the window right now. The king is fading away on the floorboards. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to really ask yourself, if you were standing in Rinnie's shoes, freezing in the dark, with literally seconds left on the clock, what would you choose? Love